The following podcast is a production focused on storytelling, exploring new TTRPG systems and their supplements. This podcast is not sponsored by any of the systems or their owners and is meant to be a fun, interactive book club. Respective credits for songs, sound effects, and resources are listed within the description or details. And with that, please enjoy, adventurer. Moving on is population types. This is going to be determining the major cities and towns. We don't, again, we can get really, really granular with this. But for the time being, I think what we'll do is we'll pick one of these countries to fully flesh out the towns that are there for the time being. So for this, we would have to roll a 3d6. You're next. It's the wave of the
Thank
hand.
you, thank you.
You can't
Totaling
see
them
it.
together one at a
Yeah.
time.
No, it's yeah, no, 3d6 is just the total. That's just flat out the total of the
Flat
major
total, okay.
cities and towns.
You can't see it, but I am waving. We've been waving our hands when it is the other's turn to roll.
Grand total is 11.
11 major towns and cities. Okay, so which country do we want this to be established in for the time being? Do we want
Only a big one.
A large
the
country?
aristocracy? Do we want to potentially, if we ever do move forward with this amalgamation, that we start in this this aristocracy with the Baroness? Or do we want to start somewhere
To
else?
start, I feel like starting in the place that's balanced might be because we're not starting in a place that's like war. We're starting in a place that's balanced where, well,
So country y'all?
it might be nice to kind of start in a neutral country and then have to be drawn to to the Baroness with a secret or to the.
Okay. So it's country y'all.
Yes.
It's country y'all.
That's
Uh,
country, y'all.
Hmm.
There are 11 major towns and cities.
We have
So
tables for names on these too.
yeah, I know. Like you can they were not kidding. You can do a full campaign with this book. You can do a
So
full
cool.
build a campaign. We'll need to roll a d10 for each one of these. So we're gonna fire through these. How about that?
Got it.
All right.
Back and forth starting with me. Ready?
Lightning round.
Okay, here we go. First D10. 9.
Metropolis.
5.
A small town.
5 again.
A small town.
7.
7. A small city.
7.
7. Another small city.
8.
A large city.
4.
A village.
3.
3. A hamlet.
6.
Large town.
5.
Small town. A lot of small towns here. Small
Mhm.
town.
In the country.
3.
3. Another hamlet. How many are at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I actually had 11. All right.
Oh, the one metropolis seems about right. That's cool.
Yeah. Just
That's the aristocracy, so I'm almost imagining
No,
lords of large vineyards
no,
and
this is the chief
farmland.
this
minister.
is country, y'all.
Oh, chief. Never mind. Sorry.
This is country y'all.
Country, y'all.
So there are general descriptions associated with each one of these that they provide. So just for the ones we've got, a hamlet is usually 60 to 120 residents. And something to remember too about these cities and towns is that these are the major ones. So ones that are kind of popular enough that people are aware of what these places are. They make it clear that your country will potentially have more cities and towns that may not be on the map, but these are the ones that are on the map, whether that due to them being on the major roads, major trade points, or even just historical significance. So hamlets are about 60 to 120 residents. A village is about 120 to 500. A small town is between 500 and 2,000. Large town is 2,000 to 5,000. A small city is 5,000 to 10. Large is 10,000 to 25,000 residents. And that's pretty much, oh no, metropolis is 25,000 to 100,000 people. So
Jeez.
fairly decently sized locations we have
This
here.
is the medium country too.
This is the
Wow.
medium country, yeah. Here's the thing, number 10 was a mega city, which is upwards of 100,000 people minimum. So,
Wow.
um, I'm curious if we ever get to the other countries at some point, if
I really want to know what the authoritarian place is, just like one big mega
mega
city.
city.
5 mega cities.
So because of this, we can do a few interesting things of how this population looks. So we can determine also the general shape of our towns.
They obese or like chubby, or was that
No,
what that
I
means?
no, wow, way to
Definition.
okay. No, the actual like the general shape of the town, not
Oh,
We're going straight to the populace.
this is a rather rotund area.
Yes, they do have heavy cheeses in the north.
sorry.
So, so go ahead and give me D10 roll. Oh wait, no, sorry. So something to be aware of is that I don't know if exactly how this works with the printing, but so in the on the table here it says a D10, but they state there's a D12. So I guess it was just a misprint. So it's a D12. So roll a D12 for the metropolis. So what kind of shape that is?
8,
It's a hexagon.
Cool.
Small town.
10.
It's a square. Next,
10.
just a lot of squares.
11.
1.
It's a circle.
Oh,
We're really mixing it up here.
oh, going crazy. I can't wait for my trapezoid. Oh,
Ooh. Well, not a trapezoid, but it is a rectangle. Am I wrong? Wait, trapezoid is so trapezoid is still four, right? So why?
at the
Okay,
bendies.
okay, the bendies, right? Okay,
Mhm.
9. Uh, triangle. So for the village, what do we have for the village?
I hope to have my favorite shape in here. 7.
7. It's a cross. Hamlet.
4.
4. Oval. Large town.
2.
2. Rectangle. Small town.
2.
Rectangle, and then finally this hamlet.
11.
11. The spiral.
Oh, that's interesting. Is that last Hamlet like a vertical community?
Oh, where it kind of like
Oh.
goes goes up a little bit,
Oh, it's
Yeah,
like a
like
maybe
mining community. It's like,
like a stretched cinnamon bun. A little bit
hmm,
oh,
going up,
cinnamon. Could be going down if they're mining.
yeah,
going up,
vertical in some way. Up or down if they're
going
mining.
down.
I
Okay.
want it to be horizontal.
This is something we can do as well. Notable and unique defenses for these respective towns. D12, please. Let's go with so here's the thing, and then I guess we'll kind of ask here. Do you feel like we need to do a notable defense for things like small, like villages, towns, or do we want to just do all of them?
The metropolis, I feel like, would be the most important one.
Yeah.
That would probably be the most important. Okay.
And then I guess not the hamlets per se,
Maybe
unless
the large city.
it would be kind of very interesting and mysterious if one of the hamlets had a defense system.
I think
Just
we can
one.
do let's pick this here. So it makes
I
sense
roll.
for so yeah,
Uh-huh.
let's pick the ones here. So Metropolis obviously needs one.
Mhm.
Um, and then let's pick the Hamlet, and then out of these other ones, probably the large city, and then let's say just another one, just for the sake of it.
Hmm.
One of the small cities.
One of the small cities,
Or
Circle
the large
Town.
town, maybe large city, large town.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a D12 roll for Tangleberg.
All right, D12 here. Wait, 8.
Strange metallic towers that can be used to create a web of electrical energy used to seal off selected parts of the city.
Interesting.
So the heavenly town.
Important, not important people, maybe important things and or maybe just the townspeople itself. Who knows?
Metropolis. Give me a D12.
11.
Constructed spheres that can be lobbed at attackers or troublemakers to bathe the area they strike in magical darkness. I imagine that this would either be something that the police force or the defense force kind of has. But I'm curious because it feels like that's almost too small of a thing for a metropolis to
For
have.
Metropolis, do you think they should get two because it's so large, or only one, or maybe
So
look at the other options? Up to you.
so there are a few different options here. I don't want to go through there's 12 of them and they're kind of a little wordy. If we're not happy with that, we can potentially either shunt that off to another settlement or just do a different rule entirely for Metropolis.
It sounds like a better one for one of the smaller settlements.
Because it seems as though that's something that would be just like a quick thing to just throw at people as opposed to just as a major defense. No,
Well,
no.
Oh, interesting. It could be for maybe the Hamlet. Because let's say they have something that's there that they don't necessarily, if the darkness could help hide such a smaller area. So if they shoot those out in mass, that effectively will hide them, maybe.
Oh yeah,
mhm,
darkness.
very
Like
Well,
if
nice.
that'll
something's coming, they just shroud in darkness.
All right, well then give me a D12 roll then for the Metropolis again. Let's see if we get something a bit more big city.
2.
You know what? I dig this because I can imagine this being a part of some kind of major military force or just the guards. Multiple kennels of fire-breathing drakes tended by skilled trainers that can be brought to bear in times of trouble.
Drake riders.
Yes. Yes.
Or wait, no, just Drakes. Never mind. No Drake riders.
Okay, immediately
Just
wants
skilled.
to live there.
You want to live in
Fire-breathing
country, y'all.
country, y'all.
Oh, I
Drakes.
forgot that's where it
Take care of
was.
your Drake.
You forgot that's where it was located.
Forgot that's where it was
Make sure you tend to your Drake.
located.
I call this one Diesel.
Diesel, say
Weasel
hi.
and Thud.
Diesel. Thud.
Remington.
Remington.
Tamale.
Tamale. This one's called Winchester.
Buster, get over here.
Buster.
It's called.
Trying to think
This
of all the
one's
stereotypical
called.
names that most people name their dogs. And just
Name this one Sue because it reminds me of my ex-wife. Spitting fire constantly.
she's also a dog.
Looks scared
Um,
too.
all right. So then multiple kills of fire breathing drakes. Awesome. So then Hamlet's got the constructed spheres. Tangleberg has strange metallic towers. I think we've got this large city here. Triangular.
12.
A giant moat full of hungry giant eels.
Mm,
All right. So I think that's. Does anyone have any other preference of any city that deserves any kind of defense, or we're just going to leave them to their own devices for the time being?
figure that's fine.
Now we're coming to probably more of the pure granular aspect of each respective city, which is going to be the general makeup of the city as far as ancestry. So, what are the predominant major citizens or types that exist here? So we've got here a city ancestry makeup, which is a D10 table. However, there is also an additional one for because on the D10 there is uncommon, which is a 10, and then there's an entire other table for uncommon ancestries as well, which is a D20 table. So if we want to mix it up, we certainly can. I think we should still potentially still stick with doing a majority of the general city ancestry. We are going to roll a d4 to determine the general makeup of which major races kind of take place in each respective town. So, give me a d4 for the metropolis.
3.
Okay, so that is okay. So that's three. So that's three major types. Give me a d10.
First one, 1.
Humans. Makes sense.
Basic.
7.
Dragonborn. Makes sense with the drakes as well.
And how do we just not do double rolls? Because I just got a 1 again.
I would say no, we would not do double rolls unless you want to say that humans are the predominant major part. I mean,
9. I rolled again in 9.
that's good. Half orcs.
We're
Butch.
beefy.
Yeah, this
Got
is
some tough people in that
it's a
town.
tough community.
Haughty.
I
Ancestries
they have to
for
use the Jakes.
so for this small town, square. You know what? I'm gonna give some of these some names so I can actually Squareton. So give me a D4 roll for Squareton.
2,
2. So D10. 2.
7,
7. Dragonborn.
1.
Humans. In a small town for this. So we're gonna say this one's Square.
Ville.
Squareville. Okay. Give me a roll. D4, please.
4
Some
Ooh.
decent. So
for
okay.
a
Small
small.
town. For
Oh.
Squareville. Squareville is popping. Give me 4 D10s, please.
8,
8 tieflings.
10,
An uncommon. And we'll roll that here in a second.
1,
Humans.
9.
Half orcs. All right, so for uncommon, give me a D20 roll.
12.
Owlkin.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm sure they
Ooh,
know. They're like, oh, is that what you think we say?
We don't talk like that, you know.
Oh, I'm
How about
sorry.
what? How about what? What?
I'm sorry,
Who
sir. I'm
told you that?
sorry.
Who?
You're saying the thing. I just was.
Listen, it's okay if I say it. All right.
Give me a D4 for circle. I don't know. Circleton, Circleville, Circlesburg.
3,
3. So D10s.
5,
5. That is gnomes.
7,
Dragonborn.
4.
Halflings.
Gnomes and halflings right there.
Dragonborn's just towering above everybody.
I told you
I
we
like
should
to-
have moved back to Rectangleburg.
I like to imagine the dragonborns are kind of like the big brothers and big sisters, and they just love their gnomes and halfling neighbors so much.
Yeah.
Imagine they were like a garrison of soldiers at some point that just stuck around. So like, yeah, no, we love it here.
I like how the dragonborns seem to be one of the
Everywhere.
main
Follow through ancestries if they're
Places,
just
yeah.
kind of races are sticking around here.
could not think of the word, so sorry.
Small city and rectangular.
All right. D4?
Default.
3.
3. That is half elves.
4.
Halflings. Not all right.
3.
Hey, they're half elves.
Half elves,
1.
halflings.
Was that one?
1.
Humans. Those humans are getting around and just and that's I know where all the halflings and half elves came from.
I was hoping for half orcs so they
Okay.
could be Halfton.
Oh,
Welcome to Halfton.
Welcome to Halfton. We
I'm
make
gonna
pie.
Because
I'm still
half elves are the result of humans and elves.
Something
yeah.
else.
So that's something
Something
at
in
some
elves?
point. Yeah, there's something at some point when we go into further source books and other source materials that actually talk about how there's been a revitalization for species and for understanding for like half races of how there's been this deciding to mix them more as opposed to just simply saying half elves can only elves can only get with humans, etc. But half elves can basically now be like half dwarf, half elf. Like it just depends now. If you want to get that
Yeah.
legless Gimli ship going, I suppose. I don't know.
Some people like to climb trees. It's fine.
Trianguville. I don't know.
Tripleton.
Purpleton?
Tripleton. With a
Oh,
three stop.
Tripleton.
Never mind. Sorry.
I like
No, that's
Triton.
thank goodness. I was just
Tri-town.
I was not Tri-Town. Okay, I'll just Tri-Town.
Well, back
So-
to a
At some
try.
at some point, I feel like these names might stick depending on how it works, but we'll see. Okay, ancestries for this large city for Tri-Town.
Well, our 4.
Seems appropriate.
We got a double up here. But I'll start with the main ones. So 1,
Humans.
5.
Gnomes.
I got 8 twice, so I'll re-roll one of them here.
Tieflings.
3.
And half-elves.
You're staying pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Read the
Uh,
list of the Beastie Boys. I'm guessing those in the uncommon category.
there's a ton in the uncommon category. If you want to know, I could list through some of these quick. There's 20 of them, unfortunately, so it would take a minute. But
I
for
can imagine what's on the list.
okay, fair enough.
It's what we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, there's a fair amount on here. I'll just say that much. So Cross, the village for Cross.
D4.
Yes.
Yes, Cross.
4 again.
Cool.
And then D10.
Yep, Purdue.
10.
Uncommon.
9.
Half orcs.
8.
Tieflings.
2.
Elves, finally.
Oh, there they are.
There they are. They're in crisscross. Okay, so give me an uncommon D20 roll.
What was it last time?
Owlkin.
Owlkin.
Okay, this one 11.
Sentient oozes.
Like that you can talk to, like elementals.
Are you familiar with Spelljammer?
Not very. No.
That you can play as there are oozes, like they're ooze people, slime people that you can play as. So yes, sentient oozes.
So like the slime from Dragon Quest, maybe the face
I-
and stuff.
I haven't played Dragon Quest, so I'm not sure what you're.
It's like a slime with a happy face, kind of.
Oh, is that the blue thing?
the little
Like
blue, the little blue droplet.
Okay. All right. I never thought that was.
Do these slime people have faces?
Yeah, they got faces. They can make their face like that's part of their ability is that they can shape their face to look whatever they want it to look like. So
Because all I'm imagining is like the gelatinous cube, but no, they're like
I am
humanoid bipedal people.
yeah, I am trying really hard not to go down a particular path of certain fetishisms that are associated with slimes. So
Are they just called slime? What are?
don't Google it. Don't Google it.
Okay. I will not Google it. I'll Google it later.
I'll try to find here. Let me see if I can find the official like.
Oh, you're gonna Google it.
Well, listen, I'm at the helm here, Spelljammer.
We enlarge the screen there.
Yeah, okay.
Plasmoids, that's what they're called.
What moids?
Plasmoids. Plasmoid.
Plasmoids.
Oh, 5e, because it looks like I've got some kind of.
The scientific something or other.
So they kind of look like that, but they can shape their face to look like
It's like
other
Osmosis
things.
Jones.
Yeah, so they,
Got it.
yeah.
Almost looks a little bit like Spot from the latest Spider-Verse movie.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Oh.
Slightly. Okay.
Okay, this hamlet, this oval town.
3.
Okay,
A booming hamlet.
2.
2.
Yep.
Elves.
8.
Oh no, sorry, you said there were 2. Yeah, two races, right? 2
Sorry,
ancestries.
Sorry, 3.
3.
Sorry, 3. I rolled every. Yeah, so 3
3.
races.
Okay, so elves were the first one.
Yep. 8.
8 was tieflings.
And then 5.
5 was gnomes. All right, Tangleberg with the strange metallic towers that use electric webs.
2 for the races.
Kind of hoping for spider people.
Spider people.
10.
Uncommon.
10.
Uncommon. Okay.
Whoa!
Cool.
All right. Let's
All right.
go.
So D20.
16.
16. Rabbit folk.
Ooh, okay.
6.
Lizard folk.
In harmony.
In harmony.
Is this in the hamlet, you said?
This isn't a large town.
A large whoa.
Just all lizards and rabbits. Just living.
that's kind of jarring, is it not?
Yeah, just this huge large town with just. So let me look back again. The description of large town. A population between 2,000 and 5,000 residents.
Really jarring.
I'm imagining there's a moderate number of lizard and a shit ton of rabbit folk.
Rabbits. Yeah, just.
It's lizards and rabbits. It's just
Yeah,
there's
sure.
no humans. No. That's kind of that's great.
Okay. Small town. Four posts. I'm calling it. It was rectangle.
Four post. One.
One. Okay.
One. Ooh. 10. Or no, sorry. Sorry, that is a one.
One. So humans.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
boring.
All right. All right. All right. Now the spiral hamlet.
Spiral ham.
One.
Ancestries. One. Just one. Okay.
If it's pig folk, I'm gonna laugh.
One.
Humans. All
Yep.
right.
Damn.
Okay.
Damn it, ham.
So we have a fairly interesting of country y'all with all these various towns. I mean, that makes sense with the rabbits. Kind of be kind of fun. Rabbit folk of country y'all. Um,
I
so they
wonder.
do.
Oh,
Go
no,
ahead.
I'm not gonna keep wondering.
I will share this document at some point so we can add to it various respective areas of what we think would be fun ideas to kind of build onto this a bit more. Because
Absolutely.
obviously these will be expansive at some point. There is a table for additional languages, but I don't feel as though that's something we really need to go into for that because it can be kind of assumed that the majority of these will be their understanding of common and their associated language that they would have. If we wanted to get really strange with it, we could certainly do one with one of these cities, like they speak something that is just not common. But that is up to you guys.
'Cause it sounds like common, draconic, elvish, infernal.
Do
Um,
bunnies speak?
Gnome, halfling, Sylvan in the official book. I think they speak Sylvan because they're technically Fey.
Makes sense.
I mean, I guess it depends on the book you're looking at for source material and
and are
everything.
the slimes primordial?
Yes, I believe so.
It's a plethora of.
Hmm.
This is a very, very diverse.
Very diverse
I just
wood.
love the large town.
Large
All rabbits and all lizards.
lizards. So here is the thing. We're going to skip over what we've got right now because I think this is going to be something that can be addressed at another point, which is architecture. I was not kidding when they were going super, super granular with everything that goes into here. There is architecture by construction material, roofing, construction style, decoration style, as well as architecture by region. Um,
That's cool.
which
That's
is
awesome.
which I don't wanna skip this, but at the same time, I don't it's getting well, do you wanna take a quick break just to refresh
Yes.
drinks and stuff?
Yeah.
Alright, if we're cool with that, like, we can definitely go back into architecture if people are okay with
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Just the excited nodding, okay.
I'm just to preface. I am having such a good time right now.
I'm hoping that you
Absolutely.
guys are. I am hoping that
Oh,
you
yeah.
are. But because I am as well, just building this world. I just don't want anyone feeling like, okay, we're sitting here. So just
No, this is great. I'm
No,
having
this
a-
is fun. It's like,
Greetings all, editing Tim here to check in with you. Are you drinking water? Did you take out the trash? Have you replaced the filter? Doesn't matter what filter, any filter, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we hope you are still enjoying this current amalgamation. As we said at the beginning of this creation arc, there will be more stuff to follow with stories and the like after this, so if this isn't your cup of tea, just hang in there, there'll be a new cup of tea eventually. Remember to give us a follow on Spotify and other podcast platforms. 5-star ratings would be nice, and potentially a comment or a review. And if you think there's anyone else you might want to share us with that might be interested in this, be sure to do so because it'll really help us grow, everybody. You can also check out our social media at YouTube with @Tables and Fables Pod, Instagram with @Tables and Fables Pod, and Blue Sky, tablesandfablespod.bsky.social, and of course, the official site for the podcast, www.tablesandfablespod.com. That's pretty much it. I don't really have any other announcements per se. Beyond, I hope you're enjoying this and looking forward to doing more stuff in the future. With that, let's go back to the rest of the world creation. We are continuing on through. I'm not sure if this is the same episode or if it's come after the break or if it's going to be a new episode potentially in the future, but we are continuing on through what I'm attempting to call amalgamation, which is basically where we are using the Game Master's. I just read the stinking title and now I don't know why. Okay, there it is. The Game Master's Book of Astonishing Random Tables by Ben Egloff. done by Media Lab Books. Again, there was also contributions from Jim Davis, Marty, Matt, and Nick Forbeck. Um, as I've kind of said before, this is a rather extensive book of tables. There is so much you can do with these books, but especially with this book in particular. And we've actually just been building an entire world for potentially for use in future episodes for the Fables and Tables cast, for either exploring various game systems or even just continuing on through D&D, Pathfinder, what have you. But it's been fun to just simply explore building a world and finding that initial spark to kind of roll with it and create some new fantastic settlements or customs or even just lore building. It's just been really fun. How about you guys? Have you really been enjoying this, I
Oh, this
suppose?
has been a blast.
Absolutely.
I've been
I mean,
enjoying this a lot.
would you get this book or would you recommend this book?
Absolutely, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
10 out of
I
10.
would kinda just wanna just like I was saying before, like, just to buy it just to start building worlds at random. Just it seems like a book to get lost in. It's great.
And on top of all these random tables, I should have also prefaced too that these books also include several one shot adventures as well. So, options for players to be able to explore just several one shot adventures from certain levels, from like levels 3 to 6, 7 to 8, or 9 to 12. So, ways to kind of explore your respective RPG system, primarily through 5e, but still, it's good. As it is with most regions, there are usually going to be structures that are standing in a settlement and or a country or town that are notable as far as a building style or even just whatever they use to be able to create their respective settlements. So for this one, we're going to be looking at predominant constructions. So what that means is that kind of what do most of these areas here, these towns and cities that we have established here in country y'all, of what they have used to make their buildings. The funny thing is that we're going to get some interesting results depending on what we're getting. I'm not sure if we'll stick with all these, depending on whatever city it's going to be, because some of these just I don't feel would naturally fit with certain city sizes. So I will need a D8 for the predominant construction material used in this metropolis of Hex City, as we are calling it, until we find a better name. So, for this metropolis, this Hex City, of these multiple kennels of fire breathing drakes with humans, dragonborn, and half orcs, the most of the buildings are made out of brick.
Stands to reason.
Yeah.
Right.
Following the same line of thought, what are the roofs made out of? That's a D8.
Okay. With that same D8, 4 again.
The roofs, aluminum or tin.
Also makes sense. Ooh, kind of steampunky vibes.
And I'm gonna also note that actually for this Hex City, steampunk-ish question mark. Why did you take away my ish? I put steampunk-ish question mark. Come on, Google Docs. The next thing that we've got here is a residential construction style. So basically, kind of what do most of the buildings do people live in? What kind of homes they are. So this is going to be a D4. So most citizens are going to live in this type of house. That is a brick building with a usually aluminum or tin roof.
A 4.
So most people in this city, this metropolis, live in single-story multi-unit complexes.
Interesting.
I guess it's a big city. It'd be weird to have a
Yeah.
lot of big residential homes.
Another thing now is the decoration style. The city and settlement is known for, and I need a d6. So basically, what this is this a way of kind of giving some more narrative aspects to your town.
5.
5. So these brick buildings with predominantly aluminum or tin roof with multi unit complexes and single story are structures decorated with carved columns and decorative moldings.
Hmm.
Oh, nice. I guess that'll keep it from it all just being like an endless brick wasteland. That kind of zhuzh
Yeah,
it up a little.
I feel as though that makes sense considering that their majority of their police for shaking your head. What's going on?
Good.
There's no embarrassments here.
Mm, mm, mm.
Mm,
Well, the kings and queens of cringe here. There's nothing to be embarrassed of. So.
Yeah.
right.
Um, but no, I feel as though with a kennels of fire breathing drakes, that seems like something that actually would make sense of a brick and tin and molded columns and everything of that nature.
I'm gonna have to ask Amanda this later if like an emblem like maybe stamped on the brick of like a drake with like the tail, the kind of like the brick
I could see
layer
that.
has like a specific nice little emblem that they stamp on it or something,
Could be like a sigil of the city even, just a symbol of their region.
right?
Imagine, like, gardens and stuff would not survive there because fire.
Right. So we're coming across to a bit of a unique problem here, in that we now have this section that's called architecture by region. Now, country y'all is something where the we haven't really established based off of the southern continent we have decided to take as the primary starting point. We know that we have two hillish areas, two sweltering deserts, one temperate forest region, two grasslands, and a jungle region. We've determined that we want, from what I understand, the major
Country goodie.
area, country goody, is jungle, and country three, which does not have a name yet, is the desert country, predominantly taken up for it looks like. Now, as far as the other places, country y'all and the large country, which we're thinking is going to be to the northwest. If there was a way that actually, you know what? I know what I can do. Am I still sharing my screen here?
Yes,
Hmm.
sir.
Okay, so this will be a bit harder to show in a podcast form. So great medium to demonstrate this. But I think this is more for reference for us as we kind of do this here. Define some borders a little bit to figure out where these areas are going to be. How big is that? Can you see that fairly well, or
Yes. Is it stretched slightly or is it?
It was
uh
determined, yeah.
a little bit?
That's fine.
Make it a little bit bigger. That seem okay? Now realizing that this basically represents 1,000 kilometers. Yeah, I don't know if we'll directly stick to that measurement here that we're showing here for the measurement for it. Again, using GM World random generator. So I wonder if I can share this as well because I don't want to just draw the shapes myself. Like, is there a way
Mm,
that I wonder if I can share this screen that you can all just draw on it too. I want to download a bunch of extra stuff though. That's the thing. I'm trying to make sure there's drawing online with your
yeah.
friends. Ah, dang it. Well, for the time being, we'll just kind of work with this. And if we want to define these a little bit better, we certainly can. But I would say that we've got here, let me go to Scribble. Okay. So we've got the major nations here, large country, which is the large one off to the northwest, I would say. So do we want to include this body of water with the large country, or did we want to keep that kind of associated with the desert region?
Let's keep it associated with the desert region as the large country is pretty occupied with warring with the neighboring country, so I feel like they, you know, would not really have much to do with that body of water, and I feel like it would probably be pretty well, not they'd be pretty well taken care of by that desert tribe. I feel,
Okay.
or at least protected, if anything.
So do we want to just kind of we say like this kind of carved out right here a little bit as like a general shape,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like just this area right here as a country.
Yes.
that's all right.
All right.
I could get the tail end of that smaller area so they still have access to some fresh water.
So kind of like that, like this
Yeah.
area up here. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and put this up. So north, okay, large country. So then we've got
Northern Asteria or something.
Astaria. So then we've got the desert region, which is not country y'all. It's this third country. It's medium sized. So well, it almost feels like that's too big.
Of the desert region?
Yeah, the country y'all includes the No, no, sorry. This is third country, the desert country with blue vein and everything like that.
Cobalt Cavern or something.
For the sand?
Or Cobalt.
I feel like the large country would extend past this into this area, this chunk here too.
Take control of
Yeah.
all the ports that are facing the enemy,
It could
maybe.
literally hug the coast around that spot, kind of
Oh, just like
branch
do
up
that.
and
Okay,
around. Yeah. It
sure.
would make sense if they're, like, waterways and whatnot.
Let's take that here. Hug around the coast, and maybe just kind of like that. This entire northwestern area seems to be good because then it seems as though it's this large country here. It kind of hugs that all of the major ports and everything like that. So because of that, then this large country that we've got to the northwest. So as
Mhm.
we're still kind of in the architecture section by region, that means that the large country in the northwest, what do we think then of the remaining regions that we have associated is going to incorporate either temperate forests, grassland, or hills?
Mm.
Which one is this large country gonna have?
Well, no, wait, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here because I'm realizing that we should be only working directly on Country Y'all because Country Y'all is the one we're working on, and because we're going by architecture
Okay,
by region.
Hard
right.
Uh,
to not know the regions, because you wanna be like, "Where are you?"
well, that's my thing is I'm trying to figure out the regions associated with it because of the way that we've got this hex city. There are different aspects associated with regions. So, like for instance, for temperate forest architectural features, there are things like storm shutters to help protect windows from storm damage and to help insulate during the colder months. Jungles are
Um,
bi-peaked ceilings with air outlets. It's basically respective features that are associated with those areas. What we could potentially do is that for architecture by region, we could just roll on the respective tables just for for those regions so that we have them for those regions already because it seems as though these are don't need to be directly associated with every single settlement. It just needs to be associated with what features are just predominant in those areas, right? Am I making sense by saying that?
Yes.
Okay. So since we've got these features here, we've got hills, deserts, temperate forests, grasslands, and sweltering deserts and jungles. I would say give me a roll for hills, and that's going to be a D10.
That roll, that is an 8.
Oh, odd. I'm now seeing here that there is on these tables, they only have the respective architectural features for forest, jungle, coastal, desert, and Arctic. Okay, so no, this is by city. Apologies. I'm trying to figure out the exact regions of where these places need to be. Because I think this is a problem that most people might run into when they're designing this area is then now positioning of the respective countries of borders and stuff.
right.
And now I just wish I had something better to kind of demonstrate of like where these areas are.
And honestly, they don't have to be exact necessarily, we can just kinda figure out where they're supposed to go.
Sure. Okay. Then I would say we've got large country in the top northwest. Let's do desert country in the middle here. Then got country y'all is a medium. Yep,
Feel like
medium.
that'd be another large chunk of of lower below
Like right here.
desert country.
Like maybe this whole section right here. Well, actually, well, do we want this
I feel
area?
like
Do
the
we?
jungle, one of the jungle's probably going to be in a corner somewhere, as far away from the others as they can, trying to push away from them.
I almost
Country
wonder if it
goody.
wouldn't be that craggy outcrop on the far, western edge there.
This thing?
Because yeah, if it was that whole area was forested jungle, it would add to their isolation.
Okay.
It takes a bit to kind of get out there,
Mm,
So should we say that this area, right, like basically cutting off here would be
yeah,
the isolationist?
And it's kind of odd that they are kind of near the other country as well because they're wanting to take over all trade and wealth. So it makes sense that while they're still connected to their continent, they're also pretty close to the other one.
Okay, so we've got one country, two country, so country goody. We only have the three then. We've got country y'all. So country y'all is left, basically. So that's the thing too, is that not everything needs to be defined as like being territories or like they could be wildlands, right?
because
Mhm.
the desert country is just one part of the desert because there is another desert area somewhere else that houses the skull, I believe, because there's two separate desert places.
Do we want those combined or separate?
I feel like if they're separate, because that being is so massive, one its head is in this desert land one spot, and then the arching other rib cage is in the other spot. Unless you were wanting them all in one spot.
I think it would make sense to have them be kind of in a similar region, not necessarily on opposite sides. But if you took, of course, I'm pointing, you can't see, but where the kind of tip of the coastline for the large country goes, and then kind of scooch it all the way over to the coast on the opposite side, making like a pie wedge almost.
So this area basically being country y'all.
Uh, I was saying enlarge the desert almost. So
Oh, a larger
kind
desert.
of, yeah, so almost cut it horizontally all the way across from where that coastal country dips, kinda. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to, because that's the thing too, is that some of these areas can just be unclaimed as well,
right.
right? Like they don't have to actually be claimed directly by the respective countries.
Mhm.
Um, so then country y'all, would that
Southernmost.
southern southernmost? So do we want it like,
Lord.
do we want it just because do we want to just have an expanse of
Some
just
parts that are just not part of any country that are just travel
yeah,
areas.
Do
which
we
actually
wanna,
would make
like,
it
scooch the desert down almost so there's, like, this kind of buffer between each of these respective nations?
country y'all. Uh, we did not define as having a respective region. So here's the thing. I would say that the temperate forests that would be that would make sense to me for the large country. Just something
Yeah,
about
I'd have a lot of resources.
yeah. So I'm just gonna define that here. See, because then that country y'all can basically be either a mixture of grasslands and hills.
Hills, because they have a
That
few
makes sense.
halflings.
Yeah,
And they've got the fullings
the
and stuff.
follings. So I would say then that because then we could have it where there's why is it not let me draw? There we go. So let's say like country y'all is not even
Oh, there you
directly
go.
not connected like that, but it's like it's this area
Okay.
because then there's basically you could say that there's grasslands or hills still here going into desert, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So then I would say then country y'all. What?
Nothing, sorry.
Keep covering your face.
Fantasy world, geography and geology, doesn't matter.
It does not. No.
Does not. Trying to unplug that part of my brain.
Country y'all. So hills, grassland. That works. Cool. Uh, so now that we have established that, we can actually go back to what we were doing.
Brief intermission.
And I'm going to go ahead. So, large country, we're at forests, and we are working with country y'all, which is, I would say, grassland and hills. So, because of that, since they don't have any major aspects for these architectural features, this turns into a situation of where I feel like we're getting a bit of the cart before the horse because the way that it's saying these questions here or saying these structures are things like use of jetting upper floors protruding past lower floors to shelter the lower section of the house from weather. Um, Depending on where the location of the town is in country y'all, that would determine also based off of these regions of coastal, desert, or architecture. Which makes me wonder then if any of this really is applicable then to any of country y'all, because it doesn't seem like that would be applicable unless it was a coastal town.
I mean, to be fair, there are coasts and I mean, the predominant would be hilly, but you could also have bits with trees, bits by the water, so
Right.
there can be variance. So we could literally s- we could roll dice to see, is this by the coast? Is this a forest? Something based on the architecture.
I think for these particular for country y'all, we might just have to skip because we don't directly have a placement for the towns. There is a method to the madness I think that we can do for determining of where towns are located. But I think a way we can do that is actually with the next section, not to just directly skip past it, but an economy, which figures out then elements of trade, which would help us figure out
Oh,
what placements of towns would be, because depending on what they're trading, might actually determine then how wealthy they are and what
that
they're
might
trading
be.
in. So the economy associated that they've listed here is basically you're determining now the wealth and poverty associated with each respective town. So what we're doing is we're going to be rolling a d10 for the respective cities. So let's go to country y'all. So for this hex city, I'm going to scroll down here and realizing we did not do the other architectural bits of these respective cities. Ah, getting ahead of myself because we've got Squareton, Squareville. But you know what? I'm going to say this. We've defined Hex City. Let's do economy. And then when we go to trade, that will help us determine architectural stuff for these other towns.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay. Not to take command too far into this or just okay. So for economy, so D10. So we're rolling for a wealth and poverty level for this metropolis.
That is going to be a 8.
This city is actually 1% aristocrat. Wow. Aristocratic. 5% is wealthy. 25% are comfortable. 22% are modest. And 10% are poor. 15%, oh, no, sorry, 20% are squalid. And 4% are wretched. Seeing here actually that that's supposed to be 20% poor and 25% modest. My eyes were glaring at another one. So, largely a not super wealthy town. It looks like it's fairly modest for the most part. It's funny because this system that goes into now for the table goes into tax rates, which always something that we love to go into when creating worlds is the tax rates associated with your respective towns. But hey, that's something that some people are into. I do we want to go into tax rates?
I don't think it would really it would
th-
really come up again.
would this be fun to go into tax rates, everybody? Would would we want to go into the respective of like
Well,
how
so
tax
much
is
fun.
collected? Do we
You
want to go
know,
into
I
that?
just that just rustles my jimmies. I love going through numbers.
I'm gonna say that if anyone ever wants to go into this book, I think we're gonna skip this part. This is not exactly something that is this. This book talks about sparking imagination. I'll tell you what, we're getting into tax season soon. I don't want to be sparked in imagination with this. So,
This one does
No,
not
thank
bring
you.
joy.
No, no, thank you.
so you know what,
Thank
we're
you.
gonna forego this. If you would like to go into the respective granular aspects of tax rates and the status of the city treasury, sure.
Go for it.
Go for it. I'm going to skip past this, please.
Sounds
Um,
I'm just
and go.
imagining like a table full of accountants going like, "All right, here we go."
Just
rabid. It's like,
oh,
"Need the taxes."